Hi guys, so I have another video for you guys, kind of just like a sit down with me video. But today I'm gonna go ahead and go over everything that helped me during my C-section recovery, just kind of, or my C-section postpartum recovery. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and show you just a few things of what helped me through my C-section recovery. Not everything is going to be the same for a lot of people. Some people might not use the things I have, and some people might have a different way of recovering. And then also some people just might not recover the same way that I did, just because it also kind of just depends how your guys' C-section went. But if you guys have seen my C-section story video, then you guys can understand that I had a pretty easy C-section, and it wasn't until maybe like day 2 or day 3, or day 2 was the day that I really felt the pain, and then day 3 and day 4 was kind of easing up, and then it wasn't until I got home where I was feeling a lot better. So yeah, so not everybody's C-section recovery is gonna be the same. This is just how I recovered, and then the things that I use for during my recovery. And if I don't have a lot of the things that are in the video, some of the things I might have to just like post a photo, or I might just have to talk about. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, or if you are new to my channel, my name is Clarissa. I am a first-time mom. I did have a C-section, and I did give birth to a healthy baby boy named Csection. So if you guys are new here and you guys want to see more of my videos, don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like, and hit that notification bell to know when I have a new video. Okay, so starting with underwears. So when I first got out of the hospital, or the first few days, so I was wearing the hospital underwear. If you guys don't know what hospital underwear is, it is like just very thin material, but it looks like boy shorts, and it's actually was the most comfortable thing that helped me out through my recovery. So I did bring Depends in my hospital bag, like you guys saw in my hospital bag video, but one, because I wasn't in actual vaginal birth and I didn't really need the Depends, I just used the mesh underwear and then like whatever pad that they had at the hospital. So those big really big pads that you guys can get at the hospital. So I used that and the mesh underwear for the first few days of my postpartum. And then when I got home, I still continued to wear the mesh underwear because it was so comfortable for me. I couldn't wear the Depends or wear my Always underwear that I had in my postpartum baskets, but I didn't wear those probably until the end of, or like maybe like from the end of last week to now, where I'm at 3 weeks postpartum. So today I'm 3 weeks postpartum, but I couldn't really wear the Depends or the Always underwear because I wasn't comfortable, and it was because my scar was so tender still, and it wasn't painful, it just was irritated by the pressure that was on it, or just like the underwear, that the texture of like the Depends I felt like, or the texture of the Always. So it was like kind of right by my scar. And to kind of explain my scar, so I was a transverse breech, so he was pretty low, so I have a low transverse breech scar. So it's like right below my tummy and kind of a little bit above my pelvis, so it's really low. You guys can't really see it, and if I was to wear like a bikini in the summer, it would still cover it up. So it was pretty low, but because it is so low in that area, like wearing the Depends and wearing like regular underwear was not working for me, because it didn't feel good, or it just didn't feel right to me. So that was a really big deal for me. So I definitely wore the mesh underwear. Unfortunately, I don't have any to really show you guys what it is, but I did wear that a lot during my C-section recovery. And with my C-section recovery, I honestly didn't really wear clothes. I just wore my nursing bra and the mesh underwear. That was pretty much all I wore throughout the first few days. So I really wore this robe that I got from TJ Maxx. This is what I packed in my hospital bag. So I actually ended up using this a lot because this was the only thing that was really keeping me comfortable. One, because I didn't want to put clothes on, and two, I didn't want to put like pants on or a shirt on. It was just, I was learning how to breastfeed, I was learning about feeding, I was adjusting to my new life with a newborn. So honestly, the mesh underwear, nursing bra, and this robe was the best thing that I was wearing through my first week of recovery and the first few days of recovery. So again, everyone's different. I honestly, it was just that this is what was comfortable for me, and it wasn't until maybe like 2 weeks, the next week, 2 weeks postpartum, where I actually start putting on clothes and putting on actual underwear, because I felt more comfortable, and also because it was just easier to finally like get my body up and get my body like actually effortlessly being able to look presentable to people. So going into like how I managed the pain, so I got sent home with some oxycodone, so like a Norco pain medication, and then also some Motrin, which is ibuprofen, a really strong ibuprofen. So that was the two that I really used for the first few days, and then I stopped using the oxy probably like 3 days being home, and that was kind of the goal, was that to stop using the Norco for after postpartum, because obviously like you don't want to be on that kind of medication, or you don't want to be on those drugs just because it's like makes you feel good. And the main reason why I didn't really like the oxy 2 was just because it made me feel like my heart was beating really fast, so I didn't really like taking it, so I stopped using it after 3 days. And then the ibuprofen I still continued to use at least that first week, mainly because my back was hurting so bad and I just couldn't stand up straight, and I felt like I was so in a lot of pain, but it was mainly coming from my back because I couldn't stand up, and I was on my feet, and I was trying to help the baby, or trying to take care of my baby. So I honestly like put a toll on my back, and that's when I would take the ibuprofen. Another thing too that I really used was stool softeners. So if you guys know, after you give birth, whether it's a C-section or if it is your vaginal birth, going number 2 or having a bowel movement is like not possible. So I was given stool softeners during my stay at the hospital because I wasn't having a bowel movement. Yeah, that's my cat. Stool softeners are the best thing that you can have after you give birth. I didn't really have a bowel movement until probably my 4th day of postpartum. The only reason why I had it is because of the stool softener. Other than that, I was pretty constipated, and then when I got home, I was still constipated, so I told Cody to get me some stool softeners because I didn't... This cat is gonna give me a heart attack. So I didn't get home, or I didn't have a bowel movement until I finally took the stool softeners that Cody got me. So I think it was 24 hours after I took the first stool softener, and then I finally had a bowel movement. And that's what really helped my bowel movement really go again. And then I'm not gonna lie, it did not feel good the first time, just because one, my uterus was not completely down, and my body was just like going through a whole other phase, so it was like still adjusting and still getting back to its normal phase. So obviously with me having a bowel movement, it did not feel good because my body's not used to not having my body all weirdly moving. So when I first had that bowel movement, it wasn't fun. I did have to use this thing right here. So I did have to use this, the cleansing bottles that you get at the hospital, mainly because it was weird when I wiped, and then I didn't feel clean. So I definitely wanted to use this a lot. And then also with this, I used this for my postpartum recovery, because this is what helped clean down there for me. Mainly because I don't know if it is the same thing for you guys or for anybody else, but I did not shower probably for the first week because I didn't feel right. So I think the only time that I showered was when I got home from the hospital because I still felt gross and I wanted to be home and felt clean, and then showered. But obviously with a C-section scar and everything, I didn't feel comfortable showering. So it was really hard, but this cleansing bottle, the Peri bottles, definitely does help with cleaning down there, and definitely cleaning after your postpartum or after your bowel movement. So that's really what helped me during that time of trying to keep hygienic with going down there. And then other things that actually helped me with other kind of problems I was going down there. So after I actually did have a bowel movement, I don't know if I was having a hemorrhoid. Like I didn't see blood or anything, but my down there didn't feel right. Like it felt like it was kind of burning, or it felt like it was kind of itchy in a way. So I still use my Tux that I had, that I was planning on using if I had a vaginal birth, but this actually helped with how I was feeling back there, mainly because I felt itchy, and I felt like some parts of it was swollen because I was on bed rest for so long. So the Tux really helped with that, was the swelling and the itchiness and everything back there. So what I would do is that I would fill this, I would clean it with this, I would wipe, and then make sure that back there was clean. I would clean it with soap as well, like a tissue with water and soap. And then after like it was kind of clean down there, I would go ahead and put this on, leave it for 15 minutes, and I swear to God, it helped so much after being on bed rest for so long and just like laying in bed for the 4 days to 5, 6, like for a whole week of just laying in bed and trying to be comfortable. So I highly recommend, even if you have a C-section and you are going through postpartum and you're not, like, you've been on bed rest and you've been in your bed since your C-section, getting Tux definitely helps with the uncomfortableness back there. And then also to help with the itchiness, so not where my C-section was, but like right next to it, like the little folds back there, like, so because my tummy was like so big, and not too big, but because my belly was like stretched out, I was still having some kind of itchiness of where my belly stretched out. So I was still a little bit itchy, so I did use my bio oil, but I didn't have a lot of it. But this actually really helps. So witch hazel, so there is witch hazel. This one is the aloe vera formula, and I didn't really know this, but I guess witch hazel really helps with itchiness. So I just put this like with a cotton roll, and then just put like a little bit, and then I would rub it where my, like, kind of where my sides are, and kind of where I felt like it was super itchy, and then the itchiness would be gone throughout the day. So this actually really helped with the itchiness that I was getting still from my stretch marks, or the stretch from my pregnancy belly. So if you are like still a little bit itchy after, I do recommend getting some witch hazel and just putting it on a cotton roll, and then just go ahead and rub a little bit through it, and it should help through it. But other than that, you can, I think I used like a little bit of aloe vera, or used a little bit of lotion, and it kind of helped as well. Okay, so kind of going back to about my body kind of adjusting back to where it was. So I ordered this when I was in the hospital, because I prepared again mainly for a vaginal birth, but I had a C-section, and I, like, the day that I found out that I possibly was going to be scheduled for a C-section, when I found out he was breached, I looked more into C-section recovery stuff, and I actually ended up ordering this in the hospital. I didn't order it before. I ordered it maybe like a day after, and I got this belly binder mainly to help with my back support, and also to go ahead and help with everything that was going down there, to keep my belly like intact and not so jello-y. So what this is that it's like like a Velcro kind of binder, so it's a long kind of material. It's not the most comfortable thing, but what it is, you just wrap this all around your body, and then you try to Velcro it as tight as you can around your stomach, and it really, honestly, it did help with my back. So if I felt like my back wasn't really having a lot of support because it was hurting so bad, I would have this on. It would help so much more. And then also would help with me walking, it helped with me trying to do stuff that I needed to get done, like laundry, try to hold him, because after the first few days I just couldn't. I felt so weak, and without this, like if it wasn't for this was the thing that really helped me hold my baby and really helped me get up and out of bed, because when I was in bed for the first few days, it was so hard to get up, and I just wasn't used to like getting up anymore. So I actually had my pregnancy pillow still with me, and I had to like grab onto my pregnancy pillow and then like push myself up. So that really helped. And I have a California king bed, so it's pretty kind of like high up, so, and I'm a small person, so it was really hard for me to get up. So if it wasn't for this thing, and if I wasn't wearing this in bed, I would have the most horrible time getting up from bed. So I highly do recommend, if you are having like a planned C-section, or if you were a C-section, or you know that you're gonna have a C-section, getting a belly binder beforehand or like after your pregnancy or after birth, I highly recommend, because it is definitely going to help you recover a little bit better, and also just get yourself moving, because when you have a C-section, the one thing they recommend is definitely moving. One thing that really was important for my postpartum phase, or like after I got home, so right after I got home, like at the hospital, like speaking of breastfeeding, I was already super engorged. My supply came in really quick, and I was engorged for a long time, mainly because I was still learning how to pump. I was still learning about how to relieve the engorgement, and honestly, I was having so much letdown. I was releasing so much milk, and milk was all over the place. So it's still taking me a while to really get into a routine of pumping and breastfeeding and all that, and because I couldn't get him to latch for a certain amount of time, I just had to pump and pump and pump, and every time I did try to nurse him, I was getting let down. So because I was so engorged and having an oversupply, one important thing that really helped me through postpartum was this. These are breast pads from the brand Lancino, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but if it wasn't for breast pads were the most important thing that I needed during recovery, because one, I was still in pain down there, and I was having pain from my engorgement. So, and I was just getting so frustrated with all the letdown, all the milk that I was getting, and it was like, I'm not mad that I'm getting a lot of milk. Like, I'm not ungrateful about it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm really grateful for it, but I couldn't stop the milk from letting down, and it was getting all over the place. It was getting so messy. I had to keep changing, and that was like the problem, was that I couldn't really change because I was in so much pain. So if it wasn't for the breast pads, I'd probably be a leaking mess. And that was like the one thing I needed through my after postpartum, was the breast pads. So I was really happy that I did get breast pads, because honestly, it was so frustrating for having so much letdown, because I wanted to just wash everything, but I couldn't, because I was just so tired, and I was taking care of my baby, and I was by myself. So yeah, highly recommend breast pads. Okay, so that's really it for my video, guys. I'm sorry it wasn't the greatest, and I couldn't really explain very well. Again, I am still getting in the hang of doing these kind of videos. I'm not used to just sitting down and talking and kind of explaining things, but I'm trying to get videos out there, and trying to get in this rhythm of talking to you guys and kind of showing you guys what I used in my pregnancy, used through this new phase of being a mom. But if you guys have any question as far as anything else I might have used during my C-section recovery, honestly, all the stuff that I mentioned in this video really was what I used, and is really what got me by. I'm still in postpartum. I'm only 3 weeks postpartum, but these were the things that I used at the beginning when things were really going for me. Right now I feel a lot better than I did from the first week to now, from first 2 weeks. I do get really tired still, and my back still kind of takes a toll on me, but I mean, if it wasn't for the belly binder, if it wasn't for the witch hazel or anything like that, or the perio bottle, like I probably couldn't have like function well. So yeah, these are everything that I used, and I mean, again, everyone's different. Not everybody's C-section recovery is going to be the same. Some people might have different pain levels than me, but I didn't really have any complications after my C-section, so this is really all I needed for my C-section recovery. So if you guys like this video and want to see any more what I used for my recovery or used during postpartum, please let me know. I do have another video I kind of want to do that, you know, everyone talks about after you have a baby. So I might do a newborn essentials video, so that will be a video you guys will be seeing soon, and I will see you guys then. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.